I was reminded this week of a lawsuit that I got not all that long ago. You see, it's from a client that we represented to purchase a house. This client found this house they absolutely fell in love with. And it turns out the house had a wood foundation, and they decided to buy it anyway. And we went through all the inspections. We did all the due diligence in order to make sure that this was going to be a solid house and actually the home that they expected. Well, as you can imagine, with a wood foundation, they showed up about a year later and discovered that there's some problems when you have a wood foundation. Some of those problems, I mean, it leaks all the time. Every time it storms, they get water in the basement. There's maintenance to it. They had some threat of termites. They had some other insects that were going on in there. They had a couple of rotten boards that they had to go in and replace. So there's just some maintenance to it, and it was just always a grind on them. As it turns out, they also figured out that this particular house was sliding down the hill. Not something you really want to discover in a house. And what they're trying to figure out now is, how do I get out of this deal? How do I get out? Thus the lawsuit. Well, that's not really what I want to talk about today, because our businesses are actually built on a foundation also. And most of us, well, many of us at least, are looking at it and going, hey, I've got some real problems in my business. You know what I find is that there's this constant maintenance, all of these things that I need to go back and keep doing and redo and over and over and over. And it keeps me from focusing on what might be and what could be, what should be for my business. And those are foundational issues. You see, there's a better way to build foundations. Today, we know that if you pour an 8-inch concrete wall over a 16 by 8-inch footing, you're going to have a really solid foundation, one that doesn't require any maintenance for decades. You're going to have one that you can scale off of. I can build a second, third, and fourth floor on these houses. So I want the ability to do whatever I want. Now, the challenge is, how would I even do that in my business? If I'm just starting out, worse yet, if I've been in this business a long, long time like I have, how do I go back and rebuild it? I don't even know how, because when I built it entrepreneurially. I did it based on my innate talent, just the things I know how to do. And I'm pretty good at some things, but it turns out I'm not so good at others. So the better way is to figure out who's building the concrete foundations, who has that model, who's the engineer that decided to come up with that would last for decades. And in my world, it's Gary Keller. It shows up in a book called Millionaire Real Estate Agent. He outlines 4 foundational models for our business, and they're one called the lead generation model. Because if you don't know this, well, you do know this already. The lead generation model says, where are you going to get all these people? Where are you going to find the people that want to buy, sell, or invest in real estate today? You have to know those. There's a model that will help you figure out exactly where to go for that. The second one is called the economic model, because you have to have a certain amount of conversations in order to get a certain amount of buyers or a certain amount of listings in order to convert them actually into closings. And that's the economic model, the numbers that we need to hit in order to make our business. And then there's this thing called a budget model, which I don't know about you, but I don't want to pay any attention to. I hate budgets. But at the end of the day, I got to know, how much money am I going to spend in actually order to go build this whole thing? It's important, because I'm not a billionaire yet. And there's a fourth model called the organizational model. The organizational model says, who can help me along the way? I don't know about you, but I work a lot of hours. Most real estate agents work a lot of hours. 60, 70 hours is not unheard of in this business. The reality is that's not really sustainable. It's certainly not scalable. Just like that third and fourth story on your house. What if you wanted to go do 300 transactions next year? My business is not built. My foundational model is not built in order to handle that. It's not structurally sound. If I was able to set that up, would I want to know how? Guess what? There's a model called the organizational model. Who do you hire? Who do you hire first? What do they do? The budget model might even look back at what you pay them. Those are the 4 models that will get us to the spot of creating this millionaire real estate agent business. I mean, that's on some level what we all have dreamed of. It's a question of whether or not you're willing to go do the work and secure a foundation that's good enough to build the business that you deserve.